Lexus makes some damn fine SUVs, but let's be honest, a few of them just don't live up to that luxury hype. Some look the part, but once you drive them, you'll feel that what the hell happened moment real quick. What's up? It's Luke from CarlandTV, and today I'm breaking down which Lexus SUVs you should absolutely avoid and which ones are straight up worth your money. Let's get it. But first, do me a quick favor, tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now, let's get back into it. Avoid Lexus UX 250 hours, fancy but basic. UX goes on my avoid list for one simple reason. The numbers and the drive don't match the price. The 2025 model switched from 250 hours to 300 hours and now makes a combined 196 horsepower. Instrumented tests peg it around 8 seconds to 60, which is fine for a commuter but slow for a luxury crossover in this segment. EPA ratings are strong at about 42 miles per gallon combined, but when you lean on the throttle, the eCVT keeps the revs buzzing while the speed barely builds. It shares its hybrid bits with the Prius, and yeah, you can feel that economy DNA every time you ask it to hustle. Space is where it really trips. Rear legroom sits at roughly 33.1 inches, and cargo behind the second row is about 17.1 cubic feet. That's tight compared to what shoppers expect once they see a Lexus badge. Toss in 2 adults and a couple of carry-ons, and you'll run out of room quickly. Around town, it rides decently. Steering is light, and noise control is good for a subcompact, but none of that erases how small and slow it feels when you load it up or merge onto a fast highway. If you want the Lexus vibe without the compromises, I'd move straight to the NX 350 hours. You get a larger cabin, around 22.7 cubic feet of cargo space, standard all-wheel drive, and real-world power that feels healthier while still returning about 39 miles per gallon combined. Same brand polish, better daily life. Avoid Lexus RX 350, gas mileage is meh. The RX used to be that SUV everyone flexed about, smooth ride, bulletproof rep, comfy as hell. But the 2025 RX 350 feels like Lexus lost a bit of its sauce. The new 2.4-liter Turbo 4 sounds fancy at 275 horsepower, but it doesn't move like it. Car and Driver clocked it at around 7.2 seconds to 60, which is slower than an Acura MDX or even a base BMW X3. The old V6 was smoother and had that effortless pull. This one's got lag and the 8-speed hunts for gears when you push it. Gas mileage isn't exactly brag-worthy either, which is around 24 miles per gallon combined if you're lucky. The interior's still nice, don't get me wrong, but it feels like Lexus quietly cut corners. There's less real wood trim, more plastic, and the panel gaps don't scream luxury like the older RX. Cargo space sits at about 30 cubic feet with the seats up, which is fine but short of what mid-size buyers expect now. The infotainment system finally ditched the old touchpad, but that big touchscreen still hiccups now and then. And reliability? Even Consumer Reports dropped the RX's predicted score after early owners reported drivetrain quirks and screen glitches. If you want something that still feels like a Lexus should, you've got better options. The RX 500 hours F-Sport actually feels alive with 366 horsepower and all-wheel drive standard, or why not hit something bigger, instead, like the new TX 500 hours, which is basically what the RX should have been all along. It's got room for 7, runs the same hybrid powertrain, and pulls better fuel numbers at 27 mpg combined. The RX name still carries weight, but the experience doesn't hit like it used to, no cap. Avoid Lexus LX 600. All luxury, zero logic. Quick gut check from me, the LX 600 looks like money and absolutely rides tall, but when I stack the specs against the price, the math starts fighting back. Power is there on paper. You get a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 at about 409 horsepower and 479 pound-feet with a 10-speed. It hustles to 60 in the low 6s, which is solid for a brick this size. The problem hits at the pump. Real owners see mid-teens in mixed driving, and the EPA sits around 17 combined on premium. That's rough when you're commuting or road tripping. And it gets old fast if you bought this as a family hauler. Packaging is where I tap out. The third row is tight for adults, and the way it folds up against the sidewalls eats into the cargo bay, so you're paying 6 figures and still playing luggage Tetris. With the third row up, cargo space is tiny. Even folded, the floor is awkward because those seat shells live in your load area. Towing is about 8,000 pounds, which is fine, but not a flex at this money. If I'm dropping over 100 grand, I want real space or serious utility, not compromises. The cabin is quiet and the leather is sweet, no cap. You get the newer Lexus interface with the 12.3-inch main screen plus a lower auxiliary screen, 360 cams, crawl control, and height-adjustable suspension. Off-road, it's a tank, and I respect that. On pavement, the steering is numb, the brakes work hard to stop all that mass, and the ride can float on certain surfaces. It does the luxury thing, but it never feels nimble, and that kills the fun for me. My move instead is the GX 550 Overtrail. Same TNGAF bones, 3.4 twin-turbo V6 at roughly 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet, 10-speed, full-time four-wheel drive with low range, locking rear diff, and 33-inch all-terrains from the factory. The Overtrail is 2 rows, so the cargo area is actually usable, and the price lands way lower than an LX. If you want street luxury for big families, I'd point you to the TX 500 hours. If you want tough with brains, the GX Overtrail is the bet. Buy this. The Lexus NX 350 hours. Here's where Lexus gets it right for daily life. The NX 350 hours pairs a 2.5-liter 4 with electric motors for 240 net horsepower, standard all-wheel drive, and a factory 0 to 60 claim of about 6.6 seconds. That's plenty quick for merging, and it does it without chugging fuel. The EPA peg is roughly 39 miles per gallon combined, which smokes most luxury compact rivals that run pure gas. I've felt the usual eCVT flare when you bury the pedal, but in normal traffic it's smooth, quiet, and honestly, the kind of calm you buy a Lexus for. Cabin and space checkout for real-world use. You get comfortable seating for 5, clear sightlines, and about 22.7 cubic feet of cargo behind the second row, which handles groceries, camera gear, or a weekend bag set with no drama. The latest Lexus interface finally behaves like modern software should. Fast pairing, sharp graphics, and a voice assistant that doesn't feel like 2015. Safety kit is stacked too, with Lexus Safety System 3, lane centering, adaptive cruise, and solid camera coverage. That takes the edge off long drives and thick commuter traffic. The cost of ownership is the quiet win. Hybrids are where Lexus built its reputation, and this one keeps maintenance simple while returning legit fuel savings. Insurance and depreciation look friendlier than German picks in this size class, and you still get the 4-year, 50,000-mile basic warranty plus the hybrid component coverage. If you want more pop, the NX 450 hours plus plug-in exists. But for most folks, the 350 hours nails the balance. Smooth, efficient, and upscale without taxing your wallet. Bet. Buy this also. Lexus TX 500 hours F Sport. This is the family rig I'd sign for. The TX 500 hours runs Lexus's turbo hybrid setup with a 2.4-liter engine, a rear E-motor, a 6-speed automatic, and direct 4 all-wheel drive. Output lands at 366 horsepower, and real-world pace feels strong because the electric shove fills in the turbo's low end. Lexus rates it around the mid-6-second mark to 60, and I buy that based on how it pulls through highway on-ramps. The bonus is efficiency that doesn't slap your wallet. You're looking at roughly 27 miles per gallon combined, which is wild for something this roomy. Bet. Space is the reason you pick TX over RX. The third row is adult-friendly, not a penalty box, and the floor is low enough that knees aren't in your chin. Behind the third row, you've got legit cargo for a week's groceries or camera cases, and when you fold rows 2 and 3, it turns into a gear hauler. The numbers track with the platform it shares with Grand Highlander, so figure around 20 cubes with all rows up and near 97 with everything down. That's road trip energy without a roof box. The F Sport tune is where it separates from soft floaters. You get adaptive variable suspension, thicker stabilizer bars, bigger brakes, and 22-inch wheels, so it controls body motion without beating you up. Steering has honest weight, and the hybrid 6-speed avoids that drony feel you get in eCVTs. Towing is rated up to 5,000 pounds, which covers a pair of jet skis or a small camper with margin. No cap, it's the first Lexus 3-row in a minute that doesn't feel sleepy. Cabin tech finally feels modern. The 14-inch touchscreen is quick, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto just connect, and the 12.3-inch cluster is clean. Safety is stacked with Lexus Safety System. Plus 3, lane centering, proactive driving assist, and a legit 360 camera. If you want a family Lexus that drives right, sips lighter, and actually fits people and stuff, this is the move you should seriously consider. Lexus GX 550 Overtrail, this is the one I'd put my name on. The GX 550 rides on Toyota's TNGA F-frame, same bones as the new Land Cruiser and Tundra, so durability is baked in. Power comes from a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 at around 349 horsepower and 479 pound-feet, tied to a 10-speed automatic and full-time four-wheel drive. The Overtrail trim adds the hardware you actually want for trails, like a locking rear differential, low-range, multi-terrain select, crawl control, and a proper skid plate setup. On pavement, it feels planted, not floaty, and when you roll into the throttle, it moves out with confidence. Fuel economy sits in the mid-teens combined, which is normal for a body-on-frame truck with real capability. Cabin layout hits that sweet spot. Overtrail is 2 rows only, which means real cargo space and no awkward jump seats stealing your room. The seating position is upright with wide glass, so visibility is money in traffic and on fire roads. You get the big 14-inch touchscreen, a 12.3-inch driver display, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and the latest Lexus safety system with lane centering and adaptive cruise. Materials feel premium without being precious. You can climb in with muddy boots and not panic. That is the vibe this thing was built for. Numbers that matter, check out. Approach and departure angles are legit for a luxury SUV. The 33-inch all-terrains come stock on Overtrail, so you are not buying tires on day 2. Towing capacity on GX trims clears weekend duty for a small camper or a pair of jet skis, and the cooling package is ready for it. Steering is steadier than the old GX, brake feel is stronger, and body control is tighter when you hit a fast on-ramp. No cap, this is the first Lexus in years that blends old-school toughness with new-school tech and actually nails both. If you want a Lexus that can get dirty on Saturday and clean up for dinner on Sunday, this is the move.